oh my goodness, I could go off on that for hours. But the easiest thing is to understand the opposite, and that's destruction. It's plainly obvious to me that we cannot continue at the rate of what we consume and what we destroy and what we waste. And for much more, we're going to destroy our home. So recycling is a necessity. But what confuses me is we hear all the words, but we don't see the actions. You know, Madeira asked me, she said, you know, do you have a compost heap? I said, no. I have no waste. I have raccoons, deer that come through the property, and wherever I put it, they're going to find it. So if I have any waste, I put it out for them, intentionally, because they're just going to knock the bin over, dig a hole. It's far easier just to give it to them. But I don't have much waste. My nearest store from where I live is 10 miles. I cycle there. Typically I'll do, so it's 20 miles there and back to the store. Well, I've got the time, and health is very good for me. I'd rather do that than burn gas. Burn a gallon and a half of gas. It's not necessary. So recycling is, I don't think I can put it into an ABC format, because I think it's inclusive of how you think on your purchasing, even to the extent of what food you buy in a restaurant. My diet is, people would consider it very limited. I would say a vegetarian best describes me, but there's times when I have to fit in to certain situations. I'm flexible with that. But then vegetarian doesn't quite describe it, because Asia, having to reside in Asia for 3.5 years and live with people, that had a great influence on me. So rice typically is a very stable diet, and I find it very satisfactory. I don't need much more to complement that.
You talked about things that are natural to you. Can you talk a little bit more about how you conserve the planet in your own day-to-day?
Oh, I conserve the planet. Well, I'm not conserving it. I got to be realistic. I've got an Adidas nylon jacket on right now. That's not conserving. I mean, I've got to be honest that if you want to say a carbon footprint, I leave one. Now, I've got to look at realistically, okay, I may be very conservative, I may be very thoughtful, that's fine and dandy. But what about the other? Where is it I'm still not achieving? Well, I still have a motor vehicle that burns gas. Okay, I have a bicycle as well, and I go, well, that's okay, but I still burn gas. I'm very realistic. And it's like, well, I may be doing better than the average person, I may not. It's not a race, it's not a competition, it's personal responsibility. And I'm getting more and more aware of what I'm not doing. What I'm doing, I've learned. I'm okay. It's what I'm not doing. So, I have to travel. That means getting on a plane. That's pollution. And I can make an excuse that, well, I need to do that to arrive at a destination. Well, it's still pollution, and I'm part of that. Any food that I buy, I've got to be responsible for that. You say, well, everybody else does, and I'm like, well, I'm not concerned about everybody else. I'm only responsible for one person. So I don't set a goal. I don't set it, I'd like to do this. And that's a trap. Because once you perceive that you've crossed that goal, typically we relax. So we lapse back. So it's a continuation. And for me to be comfortable, I have to close my eyes. So I don't like a lot what's going on. I'm being honest. I don't close my eyes to ignore it. It just frustrates me. Because we all need to take responsibility. And it's okay to live the words. Live it by a perception that just because we say it, we're sort of doing it, we're halfway there, we'll do it, is not doing it. And once you've done it, what else can you do? Because we've got catch-up time. We've done so much damage. And as the population increases, we should be getting more conservative, but we're not. Consumption is escalating at a very alarming rate. It's actually speeding up. So we talk a lot about green, but I hear that, but consumption's escalating. I think we need to be very realistic within ourselves as individuals to be able to facilitate some format of change in this planet.
So you had a lot of information in that last point.
People, like, when I say I got an interview and they say, how long? I think 30 minutes. They go, oh my God, 30 minutes? Good luck to them.
Oh, no. It's not the length. I think it's, more so, how do I put this? Would it be fair to say that for you in recycling, it's not about composting or separating paper from plastic, but it starts with being conscious of what you do and don't do, and then finding a way to make steps that are part of a lifestyle that are consistent with the person? Is that a good way to explain?
That's quite accurate, actually.
Okay.
If you're separating the plastic, you're buying the plastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're already one step ahead where you need to be looking. Is it necessary to buy that plastic? So it's like, well, I buy all this stuff and I set it up. It's like, do you need to buy all that stuff? Is all that stuff necessary? Because that's supply and demand.